Does the executor of your estate know where all your assets are and what makes up your estate? In your will, there may be some coverage of this, but in my will, I have a basic will drawn up. If you haven't seen that video yet, check that out. You can sit on the whole session of having my basic will drawn up with my legal advisor, Catherine Lynch of Cariad Legal. And carrying on from that, my basic will just highlighted that I have my estate going to my wife. It didn't give any detail on what my estate consisted of, where to find my assets, and how I'd like them dispersed. As well as my last will and testament document, Catherine also provided me with the letter of last instructions. Now this gives a whole lot more detail on what makes up my estate, inside and outside of trusts and companies, and gives instructions to my executor on where everything is, who to contact, how to access it, and how I would like to see those dispersed. And they were my final wishes and instructions to my executor. So let's take a few minutes to go down to the office and break the document down and see what that is. I think it's really crucial that this document sits alongside of your last will and testament. And following this video, I'll make another video on a document that I created, the Rosetta Stone for Golden Widows. And that goes more in detail of instructions to your widow. So let's go down to the office and have a closer look. Okay, now that we've completed my last will and testament that outlines who my executor is and who my estate will be going to, it doesn't give any detail on what that estate is. So Cariad Legal also provides this letter of last instructions to your executor. And so we'll have a look at that now. So it clearly outlines that it's not a legal binding document. These are your last wishes and special instructions. So we have our name, also known as, telephone, some details there about us. Next page is the key contacts, who our doctor was, a solicitor, accountant, financial advisor, employer, power attorney, who holds the power of attorney. They got the addresses and phone numbers. We got the contacts of all of them, and any clergy. Family members. This lists all the family members, the relationship and contact details, addresses, how to get a hold of them. And then under funeral arrangements, are you an organ donor? Autopsy if requested, embalming. These are all your views on what you would like to have done, what your views towards these things are. Remains to be donated, cremated, where do you want your ashes, choice of coffins, burials. These are things, details that a lot of people don't actually think about, and the dispute that can come down between cremation and coffin, and then the debate around what type of coffin. So this is something you can outline, these type of things of what you would actually wish, what your wishes actually are. And further funeral arrangements, such as open casket, what type of music, who would you like to speak, where would you like it held at, it's going to be out in a park, or you're going to have it in a chapel, flowers, donation, memorials, who. These are all the details that were on your funeral. Obituary information. I always found it quite handy to write your own obituary. It helps you set goals for the future, actually. What would you like people to say about you that you're gone? But you can write this sort of stuff in advance. It's very handy. Again, taking a lot of stresses and a lot of details. Your children may not know nearly as much about you as you think they do. Writing that's big advances. Then going through your assets, we've got your real estate, what houses, investment properties, jointly owned, so on. This membership is very important, whether you bought it solely owned, or you did it jointly, or tenants in common. We talked about that in the basic will, and the estimated values, and I would add the actual debts as well. I'll be following up this video with another one of my own documents which expands on this a bit in greater detail, but this is a great document. This will really assist your executor. So your bank accounts, credit cards, solely a joint, what banks are at, and the account numbers. other large assets such as cars, boats, motorcycles, those type of things, makes, models, values, shares and debentures. Now these are things that we're looking at for your estate. So we have either life insurance policies, the company, the policy number, and the nominated beneficiaries. Same with superannuation funds and any other assets. Now these are things that can be off the books. These could be the little treasure box that you've buried in the chicken coop, or that loose floorboard, or anywhere else you have any assets that you want people to know about once you've gone. And liabilities, listing all your debts and liabilities that you currently have against any personal or business. So you want all that. Personal papers. These are documents such as your will, your birth, baptism, marriage certificates, diplomas, military papers, naturalization papers, any other documents, such as divorce and adoption papers, any official documents. What are they and where are they located at? The computer compile a whole list of usernames and passwords for all your main accounts. Executor can go in and close all those out. Safe deposit boxes and any other post office boxes other than your residential address. Make a list of all those things. Homeowner records, the titles to your house or where it's located at, who holds the title. Household contents, personal effects. Make a list of, these are important household inventory and appraisals. These are special things like your piano, or maybe a really expensive home entertainment system, or special chairs, antiques, things like that. Make a list of all those things and who you'd want those to go to or how you'd want them disposed of. This document could actually be quite lengthy, but you want to go from room to room and have a look through your house and make that list and inventory. Have a good think about that. And any your tax records, particularly if you got some for the last 5 years, where they located at, and hopefully they're all organized neatly so the executor can just grab a hold of those. Trust, if you have trusts and companies and things like that, we need a list of all the trust and companies, who the shareholders are, who the directors are, who the trustees are, and their contact details. Other general things, your receipts, warranties, miscellaneous papers, any unusual items, any special things there, you could put that down on miscellaneous. And that's it. It's quick, short, sweet, but this would be gold. That's a very short document, but there's a lot of information that would save a lot of time and stress for your executor. So I highly recommend that you fill one of these out and have it lodged with your will. Find this document on my website, yourjourneytransitions.com, or if you are in Western Australia, you can contact Catherine and do your will with her. I hope you found that informative, and you can see the value of having more detailed instructions for your executor. It'll really assist them in doing their job and in clearing your estate. You can find a copy of this document on my website, yourjourneytransitions.com, under Documents. And stay tuned for my next video, which will cover a document that I've developed that goes into more detail for the wishes of my widow. Because my widow may or may not be my executor. She may not have the capacity to do that. But she needs instructions, more personal instructions on where everything is. Until next time, wishing you an extraordinary retirement.
This is like a cocoon.
What comes out of a cocoon?
Butterflies.
Are butterflies beautiful?
Yeah.